All right.
Yesterday they were there propping them like,
Well, let's
I'm
get started.
Mics are live, guys.
All right, let's call the meeting of the Finance Committee to order on October 17th, 2018. Would the clerk please call the roll?
Alderman O'Brien.
Present?
Alderman Kelly is here. Alderman Laws. Here. Alderman Clee.
Here.
Alderman Karen.
Here.
Alderman Harry Gathright. And Chair Mayor Donches.
I'm here.
Great.
A public comment. Is there anyone from the public who would like to speak with the committee? And apparently there's no one here. Communications. Alderwoman Kelly.
Communication from Mayor Donches regarding contract for construction of the Heritage Rail Trail to Mine Falls Park Trail and pedestrian bridge. Change order number 1. Mr. Mayor, I move to accept, place on file, and place on file. That is all I'm moving for.
Discussion? All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Alderwoman Kelly.
Communication from Dan Kuchen, Purchasing Manager, regarding snow plowing contract, City Park lots, with a value not to exceed $26,000. Mr. Mayor, I move to accept, place on file, and contingent upon Board of Aldermen approval, award the contract to Dottie Group in the amount not to exceed $26,000. Funds are available in Department 166, Parking General Operating Fund.
And I believe Mr. Cummings is here on this, if there are any questions. Alderman O'Brien.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. And this is in regard to also our parking garages that we talked about in the past.
The answer to that is yes, but I will let Mr. Cummings answer in more detail.
That's correct. For the record, Tim Cummings, Director of Economic Development, and yes, this is also for the top floor of the garages.
Very good.
Alderwoman Kelly.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. How do we account for winters like last winter when we're figuring out the budget for snow plowing?
I'm sorry, I'm not sure I'm following the question.
So it was a very heavy snow last year. I imagine we went over our contract. So, like, where do we get the number from? Is it based on the year before, or?
Yeah. So, Mr. Mayor, if I may, it's we budget for it looking at past history. It's there's really all that we can do, and then we monitor it very closely. I will say, last year we actually had a I don't want to say the word surplus, but we did have money left in that account at the end of the year. And I try to make sure that we have that every year. So we stay on top of it diligently. With that being said, I also wanted to come this evening and make a point or a comment relative to this contract. It was brought to my attention on Friday of last week. I'm too late for this process here that there may be a potential that with this contract, an expansion, and if that's the case, I will communicate that to you, where we will be looking to also maintain the pedestrian bridges here in this city. So I don't have all the answers yet on that. I just wanted to telegraph that for you in advance, make sure you know that this would be the type of contract that would be handling that service. We're going to work through those issues over the next couple of weeks, and if we're successful, I'll be back before you to communicate exactly how that is resolved. I just want to make sure the group is aware of that.
Questions, discussion? All right, all those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Alderwoman Kelly.
Communication from Dan Kuchen, Purchasing Manager, regarding purchase of 2 transit electric hybrid buses with the value of $1.37 million. I don't know why I said that word. Mr. Mayor, I move to accept, place on file, and contingent upon Board of Aldermen approval, award the contract to Gillig LLC in the amount of $1,370,000. Source of funding is Apartment 181 Community Development Low-No Grant.
And Ms. Pattison is here on this, our transportation manager. Why don't you give a brief overview of the buses and when we will acquire them and the like?
Sure. So in August, we were awarded a low-no emission grant. It was a nationally competitive grant, and these will be replacing 2 of the trolleys with 2 new electric hybrid buses. So it'll be continuing our efforts to maintain a green fleet, and we'll get the diesel trolleys off the road. If we're able to get through our process relatively quickly, then Gillig has assured us that they can actually start production of these electric hybrid buses next August, which means we would have them about a year from now. That's actually expedited. Typically, it takes 72 months for them to actually build the buses, so they're willing to work with us and get those out here a little bit earlier, which is pretty significant. Another kind of cool feature of this grant, they consider the selection process to be competitive with FTA standards, so we don't actually have to go out and do another competitive RFP process. So it does trigger the sole source for the city. We'd like to partner with with Gillig and BAE. Those are the folks that we named in the grant, and as long as we partner with them, that qualifies as the competitive process. So it is a sole source on the city side.
Alderman Laws.
I just wanted to thank you for this. I'm sure everyone saw the news article that came out recently that says that if we don't reduce our carbon emissions by 100% by 2050, we're all going to have to grow gills. So I appreciate the effort that you guys are putting in, especially with securing these grants. So thank you for that.
Well, Mayor Jonchers had expressed significant interest in, pursuing the electric hybrid buses. So when we saw the grant come out, we thought it was kind of a long shot, but we went for it. So it was a win.
Very good job. Alderwoman Clee.
Thank you. And thank you. I want to commend you on getting the grant and all that has been done to do this. But if I'm not mistaken, when we first talked about this, they talked about keeping at least one of the trolleys for,
Yeah.
like, I want to say entertainment use, but yeah, for something like that for.
So we will. So this will allow us to take 2 of the trolleys off the road. We have another grant that will buy 1 more full-size CNG, and that'll replace the other one, but we will keep 1 for like the special events when we do shuttle services, the things like the, am I thinking of the, yes, the tours and the holiday stroll, that's what I was thinking. So we'll keep 1 for that. We'll just rehab and keep it for special events like that. But what we found consistently, and I know the mayor's office has had a lot of complaints as well, it's just, they're not comfortable, especially for seniors who ride them. Their steps, it makes it more difficult. It is a rougher ride, and the new buses are more comfortable, so.
Just one quick. And what are the plans with the other 2? Will we be selling those off, auctioning them? Will the city?
Yeah, we'll sell them off. Typically, we use the public auction. We work with Dan Kukin's office, and that's how we were able to just dispose of the previous buses that we had as well, the whole fleet. And that was the most productive way. We tried some other means with no interest. So I think the trolleys, though, will get some interest.
Thank you.
Alderman O'Brien.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I too would like to echo nice kudos on this. And I think it will lower, 25% goal of lowering the emissions. I'm excited with the granting of 85%, but I have a question on the buses, and that is for our citizens that have some difficulty. Will these be kneeling buses, just
Yes.
like what we have?
Yep.
So they'll mirror exactly, it's just going to be the propulsion system that's gonna be
Exactly.
different.
So if you've been on the CNGs that we have now, the new fleet, they will look very similar. The interior might be slightly different, but all the components are Gillig. And that's really why we partner with Gillig on this grant, because the mechanics know it, the riders are used to it, we have the parts for these vehicles. It makes it easier and cheaper to maintain. So they'll all be the low floor, they'll be kneeling, and we've got the ramps in them, it has the new technology. And so overall, the clients really prefer these. The passengers prefer the low floor, the big buses. They don't prefer the trolleys. Trolleys are great for seasonal places like York, Maine in the summertime, but they're not so good for all the time in the throughout the year. So they will.
Okay. Thank you.
Anything else? All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And the motion passes. Thank you very much. Alderwoman Kelly.
Communication from Dan Kukin, Purchasing Manager, regarding purchase of library flooring, main lobby, and stairs with a value of $32,010. Mr. Mayor, move to accept, place on file, and award the contract to Atkinson carpet in the amount of $32,010. Funds are available in Department 179, Nashua Public Library, Lost Damage Book Funds account.
Any discussion? All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Alderwoman Kelly.
Communication from Dan Kukin, Purchasing Manager, regarding FY 2019 sewer rehabilitation engineering services with a value of $391,925. Mr. Mayor, I move to accept, place on file, and award the contract to Hayner Swanson, Inc. in the amount of $391,925. Source of funding is available in Department 169, wastewater bonds.
Discussion? All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And the motion passes. Alderwoman Kelly.
Communication from Dan Kukin, Purchasing Manager, regarding capacity management, operation, and maintenance plan implementation with a value of $2,600,000. Mr. Mayor, I move to accept, place on file, and contingent upon Board of Aldermen approval, award the contract to Hazen and Sawyer in the amount of $2,600,000. Funds are available in Department 169 wastewater surf loan.
Discussion? All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The motion passes. Alderwoman Kelly.
Communication from Dan Kukin, Purchasing Manager, regarding purchase of Class 1 service to 3 Turblex blowers with a value of $28,496. Mr. Mayor, I move to accept, place on file, and award the contract to BVC Systems in the amount of $28,496. Source of funding is Department 169, wastewater.
Discussion? All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Unfinished business, there isn't any. New business, we don't have any. Is there a motion on the record of expenditures?
Mr. Mayor, I move that the Finance Committee has complied with the city charter and ordinances pertaining to the record of expenditures for the period October 1st, 2018 to October 11th, 2018.
Any discussion? All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And the record of expenditures is approved. General discussion. Are there any general discussion items from anyone? Public comment. There are no members of the public present, so I don't think anyone can comment. Remarks by Alderman.
Right over here.
Alderman O'Brien.
Thank you. Go Sox, and I hope somebody in Nashua wins Powerball. That would be great.
I second that.
Last night was incredible. Speaking of the Sox. All right, any other remarks by Alderman? If not, Alderman O'Brien.
I'd like to make a motion to adjourn.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
And the meeting of the Finance Committee is adjourned.
What time? Oh, God.